Hey guys, welcome back to DK's Garage. Does your old muscle car have a rotted out trunk pan you're trying to figure out how to repair or replace? Well, I think you're going to enjoy this video as we're going to show you the process involved to replace the trunk pan in the 70 Camaro behind me. So let's jump in and get started. Let's take a look at the trunk pan as it sits now before we really cut into it in any sort of way. You can see that I've already stripped some of the paint back. It's like a heavy epoxy of some kind. And my intent here is really to go back to clean metal to see where it is I really need to replace it to. The damage is like so many of these old muscle cars, the trunk seal leaks, or if you've got a vinyl top, a lot of times that'll leak, the rear window channel, and the water just pools in here. And it just sits, and a lot of times these cars hit trunk mats and they hold that water, and the cancer sets in and it's over from there. So I have a full trunk pan for the car that actually goes all the way to the wheelhouses, all the way back up to the back of the rear seat, and then of course back to the tail panel. But we're not gonna really, at this point, use the whole trunk pan. Number one, to get it in, you'd have to take the tail panel out, and I'm not so sure that's really necessary. This is the original GM tail panel. The bottom is a little boogered up, but that's okay. We're gonna fabricate some really cool diffusers later down the road in the build, and we'll replace that bottom part anyway. So my goal now, like I said, is to get the paint off to where I think I'm gonna make my cut lines. You can see that the rot is all the way up in here, so at very least, we'd have to pull it up into here. Or my intent really as it sits now is to come up on top of the frame rail, the inner edge of the rear frame rail, split that difference, make my weld on that metal, finish it. You won't even see that it's done. We're going to be putting a fuel pump access door here. So as we replace the pan, we'll put that in and we'll show that as well. Other than that, the car sits right now horizontal. It's on a rotisserie. I'm up kind of standing in the air. So we're not going to work on the car like this. I'm going to flip the car on its side because it's just the beauty of having a rotisserie. It makes it a lot easier to work with. Hopefully that doesn't throw off the visual aspect of what we're doing. I don't think it will, but it'll allow us to show both sides of the trunk, the gas tank mounting straps on the bottom, which I think I'm going to leave in place for this particular repair replacement. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the car on its side and we'll kind of go from there. So let's get started. Okay guys, this is where the work starts on the trunk today. We're going to start cleaning up a lot of this epoxy or whatever it is that was put on by the previous owner. We're going to take out some of the bracketry for the jacks that we actually don't need, because I won't be, as a pro touring car, we're not going to be putting the original jack back in. So these are going to be removed today. We're going to clean this trunk up, as I said, kind of determine where we're going to make our cut lines. It's not going to be a full trunk replacement. Even though I have the entire pan, we're going to section in only really what we need to replace. So we're going to get started, again, really by just taking those brackets out, and we're going to clean up some of this mess with the paint so we can see what we're actually working with. So. Taking a look at the bottom of the car. These are your gas tank mounting surfaces here. They'll have straps that come along the bottom. As I said before, I want to leave these in place, both sides, be it welded to the back, and we'll leave enough sheet metal here to hold it here in place. And I'm not sure if it shows well enough, but these are the rear frame rails. Anybody that's done a Camaro, it's a unibody car, so they don't have a full frame. These are actually part of the structure itself. And my thought is we'll cut along that inner landing of the rear frame rail, and that will be the welding surface going from front to back, and then along side to side on the car. We'll make a cut. Like I said, we'll leave this in place, so we'll probably cut halfway through, drop down, seam in where our fuel pump access door is going to go, and probably take the truck pan all the way back here. There's a lip. I'll show the replacement panel here shortly, and it is a complete trunk pan replacement. We'll be cutting a lot of that away because we really just won't need it. So wanted to show you the bottom of the car real quick. You can see I've done some grinding already, taking the exhaust hangers off. We're going to be mini tubbing the car and putting a 4-link aftermarket rear suspension, so this stuff all goes anyway, and we'll be doing all sorts of fab work in here as well. So, okay guys, we've got all the spot welds drilled out for the gas tank support on the bottom. We've done a little paint stripping with some paint stripper. Scrape that down. We'll be cutting in this area, so we want to try to clean that up prior to cutting that out with a cutoff wheel and a die grinder. So we're going to take the strap mounting bolts out. We've got some cracks in here. We're going to have to weld up, I see, for the gas tank strap. But again, as I said before, the idea is to take the trunk all the way back to the tail pan, and we're just about ready to start cutting and removing the sheet metal that will be replaced. Here's a picture of, got the replacement trunk pan out, and as I said before, it's a full trunk pan. We're not going to use all of it. It's really correct for 71 to 73 because of the charcoal canister area here. That's all right because we're going to end our cut actually somewhere down in here. We won't even see this, but it wouldn't be correct for the car. So I know it may seem like a waste because we're going to cut so much of this away, but I got this fella had a project that went sideways and he just liquidated the part, so I didn't pay nearly what I would have had I bought it online or something. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to flip it over and we're going to disconnect the straps, gas tank straps. Here is a shot of the trunk pan that was a full replacement. We've now made it less than full. We've left a lot of extra metal as we're going to want to kind of sneak up on the cut lines as we get it fit into the trunk. We had to take the gas tank mounting pads or straps off, and that'll get spot welded back on, plug welded back on. So that is it for part one of the trunk repair. We're going to come back and do more detailed work. We're going to take the trunk latch mounting bracket out, and we're going to cut everything in this area out all the way back to the rear tail panel. So come back and check out part two as we get all of that removed and start to fit in the trunk panel replacement piece. Thanks for watching, guys, and I would appreciate if you have any comments or anything you'd like to see, let me know, and like and subscribe. And again, thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.